Today is Friday, September 18th. Do you think that Jesus' resurrection is a real thing? St. Paul asks us in the first reading. For him, the question is not a Pharisaical exercise to test our orthodoxy. He's asking whether we have experienced the resurrecting Spirit in our own lives. If we think that Jesus' resurrection never happened, then he's dead, and we will be too. If we think that Jesus' resurrection was simply an event, like the Battle of Gettysburg or the coronation of Queen Elizabeth, or worse, a one-off magic trick by the Father, then Jesus' resurrection will remain distant from us in time and remote in effect. St. Paul knew that Jesus rose from the dead because the same Jesus raised St. Paul from his dead life of violence and persecution. In hindsight, we can realize that Jesus' resurrection was one with his incarnation, when the light and life and love of God poured into Mary and into her newly conceived Son. The same light and life and love inspired his public ministry and then led him through his passion and death into resurrected life. Same for us. The light and life and love of God inspire all of creation at every moment, giving us sun and rain, flowers and trees, sidewalk cafes and Big Ten football, friends and family, and interior peace and hope in the midst of pandemic, fires, hurricanes, politicians leaving their people to suffer, and bishops joining political parties that contravene church teaching. Jesus, preaching the good news in today's gospel, reminds his listeners that the God of light and life and love is active in each of us and in the world. If we pass over the phrase, good news of the kingdom of God, without stopping to ask what it is, then we will miss why Jesus feels compelled to travel from town to town. We will also miss why his disciples, male and female, want to be his disciples and travel with him. They traveled with him as disciples because they had experienced this good news, the light and life and love of God providing balance and even relief in their suffering. This picture, Jesus and his followers who have come to revel in his good news, shows us the church in embryo. We become the actors in this picture when we gather for Mass, for coffee and donuts, for a service project, or for a chance to tell our stories and to grieve the evil being done in our world. Jesus invites us today and every day to live in the life and light and love of God already present mysteriously in us, and to share that experience, especially with those who are poor in spirit. And that is just about everyone.